Welcome to Glatas Arise Manager. No. Gibbons Multiply. No. Gravesend's Mankey. No. Gossipmongers. Yes. Gossipmongers. Yes. Yes. That's it. Gossipmongers. Get your gossip goggles on. Welcome. Get your gossip goggles on. Gossip number 1.
Okay, this is from Jay. Starts off quite showy-offy, this. There are 2 shopping centres in the high street, both with regal influenced names and a lacklustre selection of shops. Regent Street, it is not. These shopping centres made for good waypoints on Hands and Eyes lunchtime journeys. Whose hands?
What?
These shopping centres made good waypoints on Hands and Eyes lunchtime journeys, and it was during one of these visits.
Oh, Hands. There's a bloke called Hands.
Yeah.
I thought it meant hands and eyes.
Hands and eyes.
Eyes in
Yeah.
fingers and things on your face. During one of these visits that we decided to pop into the loos in the nicer of the 2 shopping centres. These had recently been refurbished and were clean, spacious, well lit and easily accessible to the general public, and were an all-round pleasure to use. As we travelled up the escalators to the piss venue, we noticed ahead of us a pair of gentlemen who could only be described as dirty, hippie, backpacking cunts.
God.
They could only be described as that. These 2 characters had huge backpacks and were dressed like they were hiking on the Gold Coast, not wandering about the high street on a relatively cold day. They went into the toilets and we followed, which is when it happened. Hands and I took our positions along the long line of urinals, which were opposite the cubicles. We immediately noticed that we were the only people in the toilet, save for one cubicle door being locked. As we proceeded to push the piss from our bodies, we became aware of a soft grunting noise emanating from said cubicle. At this point, a cleaner came into the toilets, also heard this noise and scarpered. Hands and I locked eyes.
Hang on a minute. Poppy, what does a soft grunting noise sound like?
Jesus
Straight in there.
Christ.
Thank you so much.
No props.
Wow. Never, ever ask that again. Little bit hurt you didn't ask me. I'm reading it.
Didn't you like that, Joe, though?
No, I did not. I'm going to plough on.
That was a bored grunting noise.
Stop it.
I don't know what he's up to, though. He could be up to anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Hands and I locked eyes, cock in hands, nearly bursting with laughter until we heard something that made our blood run cold.
Oh, God.
An almighty moan of pleasure wafted from the cubicle, followed by a voice drawling, "Bon appetit, sunshine!" We bolted, laughing our heads off and reassuring ourselves that we'd actually both experienced it.
Oh, God.
As we descended the escalator to safety, 2 police officers came running up the other escalator in the direction of the toilets. Both were putting on blue latex gloves and had the same resigned look on their faces.
Why? What were they going to do?
I don't know, but they've had it before. Anyway, thought you'd like this slice of utter ridiculousness. Love the show. I need more of it.
Smashing.
I have questions, though.
Bon appetit, sunshine. That's a
Bon
t-shirt.
appetit,
That's
sunshine.
a
That
t-shirt.
is. Bon
We are,
appetit,
we are
sunshine.
collecting T-shirt moments. Bon appetit, sunshine.
Gossip number 2.
Right, this is from a non. It was a hot summer afternoon in the office. A fairly severe thirst developed. I arrived at the water cooler, gazed out of the central London 4th floor window whilst casually filling my glass. Out of the corner of one of my slightly dehydrated eyes, I could see an open window with net curtain billowing, as if drawing my attention. My attention was drawn. Inside the room, I could make out a bed, a smartphone turned horizontally to enlarge image on screen, and a man, semi-naked, with a salmon/coral t-shirt covering the top half.
I thought he'd actually had a salmon in there. I was like, this is the usual. Let's take it that salmon's going up his wrong one.
His feet safely tucked under the duvet.
Safely?
Presumably because his feet were a little chilly
Hold
on a
minute.
very hot day.
Has this guy just looked to the side and seen this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's in
all
the,
right.
in the
Yeah.
block opposite.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
The frantic body abuse was the next thing to grab my attention. Like any good leader of any team, team members were quickly invited, one by one, to validate the wanky window scenario. Such comments to emerge from the team's mouths were as follows. Is that his toe? I think he's finished. Wait, no, he hasn't. And is that head of IT at global organisation?
Oh,
Well, they thought it was someone they worked with. You think he'd have closed the curtains?
In unison, we turned to the desk of blank head of IT at global organisation. And to our horror delight, the desk space was vacant. It was clear he was on lunch. After a frantic search on Google Maps, it quickly became clear that the wanky window belonged to a seedy hotel. The sort of hotel that has a normal door with a number and a large male receptionist with facial scarring.
okay.
Hell, I don't know what that means.
Some team members returned to their desks in shock and amazement, while others decided to stick it out to the bitter end. After a further frantic 10 to 15 mins, the happy ending arrived. With a swift swipe of the right forearm, the jizz fest was smeared over the already grubby duvet, presumably a crispy surprise for the next guest.
Oh, God.
From this day on, filling a glass of water has never been the same. Each member of the team takes a few extra seconds to quench their thirst, just in case they catch a glimpse of the toe wanker.
That's fantastic.
For
I
your
like that one.
interest, the owner of the toe-shaped member has never been officially confirmed. However, the head of IT at global organisation often wears the colour salmon/coral, which pretty much guarantees this rumour to be factually accurate.
Salmon/coral.
The toe wanker.
That's amazing.
Gossip number 3.
Okay, this is from Jack. Dear Mongers, juicy bit of goss for you. To set the scene for this yarn, I revert back to the day I was mindlessly bored with my mother-in-law, waiting for my missus to finish trying something on and buying it. We were both sat and a small girl caught our eye because she was trying to have a real good rummage up in her nose. The type where you put your elbow into it, trying to dislodge a real big fucker at the top end of your eyeballs. After what felt like an age, she got exactly what she wanted.
Oh, I hate shit like this.
I did as well. It's disgusting. She got exactly what she wanted on the end of a digit and pulled it out to have a butcher's. Like Indiana Jones picking up a lost relic, she stared at this treasure and popped it into a cake hole. Straight in, bosh, no questions asked. She savoured every last chew. Gonna make me
This is
sick.
fucking horrible.
It's making me angry.
Why were you fine with phlegm in series 1?
Phlegm's
fine.
It's
up the nose.
I hate seeing people do it on the tube or.
Well,
kids.
phlegm's not fine. I can deal with it. This is
Yeah.
horrible.
It's just all about fucking
Picking nose.
picking noses. I don't like it. It's like 2 pages of it. Shall I move on to the next one?
Well,
Try it.
yeah, try it.
God, okay. She stared at it like a treasure and popped it into a cake hole. Straight in, bosh, no questions asked. She savoured every last chew and then started the whole process again. We silently watched this for a good 5 minutes in awe, but had to break our silence. How much has she got up there? You'd be surprised at how much little girls can have up their noses.
It's so
It's
This
really...
is not bothering me at all. This.
It's making me sweat.
Well, don't be cocky about it.
I'm good at certain things.
This is horrible. Go on.
Is it?
Yeah. Phlegm's a piece of piss.
No, phlegm is horrible. Don't do that.
This is
Well, that's not.
At this
No,
point,
that's phlegm.
At this point, I directed my eyes away from the girl for the first time and looked at my wife's mum with a confused expression. It was an odd thing to say. What? Just saying, she replied sheepishly. She knew she'd then had a stinker. Go on, I goaded. She rolled her eyeballs. Fucking hell. And she started to tell me the story, which she'd been fucking dying to tell me for years, but the situation had clearly never reared its ugly head. Okay. When my missus was young, she had a terrible habit. Every day after school without fail, she'd come back and sit in the exact same spot on the sofa and pick her nose. For hours, she would finger away, searching for that beautiful green nectar that was stashed up there. I hate he's written this.
He's done a pretty good job.
Ugh,
Yeah,
it's horrible.
It is horrible.
It's making me feel like I've got snot all over me as well. For hours, she would finger away, searching for a beautiful green nectar that was stashed up there. She didn't eat it, though. She's not a fucking scumbag, was her mum's words. She discarded them. Happy to pick and just look, my missus took her treasure and stored them
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Where did she store them?
under the arm cushion of the sofa she was sitting on.
Shit. Right, I'm
I
out.
know someone who used to store them on the wall.
Really?
Oh, God.
I know kids do
When
that.
I
and
see
just
it on the wall,
wipe 'em.
I
So
literally want to burn the
disgusting.
building down. I don't care about cleaning it. I want
thought
the
you were
whole...
pretty cool.
I know what my limit is.
Putting the building down.
You don't mind when it's wet.
I don't mind it.
Newly
Keep it in
picked.
your own facility, but not... But then put it on something.
Shall we keep going with this?
Yes.
Okay. This was the 80s where sofa could be taken to absolute pieces and washed in the washing machine. So this part was zipped on and detachable.
I don't remember that time.
No, I
You
don't.
could take a sofa
Do you
apart.
not in the 80s?
What, you
Take
could
a
take a whole
sofa
sofa apart and put the back in the washing machine.
Come on, mate. 84.
Where's the back of the sofa? It's on the washing
Hell
line.
of an era.
Weird thing to say.
Easy to lift and store your snotty finds. Of course, I was sat there gobsmacked. My whiter-than-white wife had a fucking terrible habit. I wanted to go home and check under every surface of our house, but her mum assured me that the habit had been kicked cold turkey after an incident that shook them both to the core.
Shook the world.
Shook the world. As the 80s progressed, styles changed, so they wanted to spruce up the living room, and the first thing they wanted to flog was the sofa. This was before the days of Facebook Marketplace and eBay. This was when you had to put an ad on in a free paper. Sofa for sale, free to a good home, collection only. Loving this. Oh, God. Contact us to arrange a viewing.
Don't look at that end.
They had a bit of interest, but a young couple showed up one day wanting to see the sofa as it could be the perfect addition to their new flat.
God.
They walked in to see the sofa, and my mother-in-law, being the ever-present busy fucker, talking them through every aspect of the sofa. Where it was bought, what the pillows were made of, shite they didn't need to know or want to know. But one thing they wanted to point out beyond anything else was how easy it was to take apart and clean in the washing machine. Not wanting to come across as scum, she started to regale how often she'd cleaned it and had looked after the old bird. Clearly this was bullshit. But when you've got to flog a sofa, you'll do whatever it takes. She was starting to unzip parts when my missus, as a youngster, entered the room. I can only imagine her face. Her eyes would have been bulging out of her head, and she would have shit herself when she knew they were unzipping the arm of her treasure chest. This is gross.
Yeah.
This is gross.
Come on. What's under there?
My mother-in-law chose. My mother-in-law chose, of the two arms to choose, the one where my missus had been for years,
Yep.
storing her salty cabbages.
Have to use some kind of thesaurus.
Yeah.
What's that thing called? That I can't remember what it's called. Yeah,
Salty
that's
cabbages.
disgusting.
I'm going down memory lane with a phlegm.
Are you going to be
You
sick?
started with so much
Oh no, I've
confidence.
Yeah,
gone.
you were fine.
I want to go.
I'm
home.
used to it now. I feel better.
I'm really not coping with this one.
Are you okay?
No.
Okay. It's nearly done. At first, she struggled to get the zip moving.
Was it jammed up? Was it?
Oh, I've got tired.
I'm feeling hot.
We open a window.
The dried up snot had taken its toll, but she persisted, and it got moving, breaking through the crust.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Oh.
To enjoy this.
Once that was done, the cushion should flap over with the second zip underneath to remove the cushion to the place in the washing machine. The cushion stayed rock steady. It didn't budge. A little bit of movement wasn't even there. My missus and her mum stood there with this young couple, one knowing what was coming, the other absolutely none the wiser and confused. It should just lift off, she said, confused.
How queer.
She then gave it a bit of a tug. My mother described this next bit as the worst moment of her motherhood. I think I'm going to faint before the end of this story.
Oh, same here.
At first, the initial tug produced a few bits of hard, dried up bits of discharge
Mother of
that she
God.
thought was washing powder.
What?
So the mum thought it was just washing powder
Yeah.
crinkling down. Yeah.
Green washing powder.
Never been washed, so that was bullshit. Then she tugged harder. Come on.
Come on.
Boom, it came off. And so did years of dried up snot, bogies, spit, mucus, and whatever else was picked out of my missus' nose. It hit the walls, windows, and
Fuck off, did it? Hit the walls.
explosion.
Whoa.
Got a little bit carried away at that point. Just started enjoying writing it.
And the four people's faces in that room.
No, it didn't.
No, come on.
2 potential buyers, 1 guilty party, and 1 hugely surprised and embarrassed mum. Worst was to come. Yeah.
Wow.
How?
She continued to lift. My missus had clearly
Well,
had a
after
good...
it splattered everyone. Come on. I think we're idiots.
We're putting it in, but do you think we're idiots?
Worst was to come. She continued to lift. My missus had clearly had a good rummage over the previous 2 or 3 days.
Oh, no.
As when the cushion was lifted fully off, the scene looked like something out of Alien.
Oh, can we do the next one?
My mouth's gone all dry.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Stringing up was days' worth of snot and shite,
shit this.
as well as their crusty brothers
I
and
love how it's
sisters.
just focused on the end of a sofa.
This feels like it's so much description about bogies. I
It's
just...
just the arm of a sofa.
Oh,
where it is.
no. Just condense it and get out.
It's 2 pages. 2 pages of
Yeah.
snot.
Say my wife put bogies in an arm.
dear. Imagine him tapping
on.
away in his pants about midnight.
Oh,
3 pages of snot.
pissed out of his head.
Oh,
He's not married.
I'm just going to say this sentence again. Stringing up was days' worth of snot and shite, as well as their crusty brothers and sisters that had pinged about the room. Green, yellow, and red. She had the odd nosebleed. Pellets littered this arm.
Wonderful story.
It looked.
Keep it coming.
It looked like a Jackson Pollock painting
Yeah.
made out of nose gremlins.
This crappy.
How many different descriptions of bogies can one you use?
Google bogey descriptions. But, oh, God.
It was quite the
Nose
collection.
gremlin, fuck off.
If it was anything else, you would have been proud of it, but not this.
No.
Apparently, the couple decided not to purchase the sofa, and my missus was bollocked and didn't pick her nose there again. Podcast is beyond banter. It's awesome. Sorry if it's a long affair, but I fancied writing it
Don't
properly.
ever apologise.
That's from Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Jack.
Joe looks ill.
God. I really don't want to ever think about that again.
Gossip number 4.
Okay, this is from Anonymous. When I was little in the late 80s, I once saw my auntie and uncle, they are brother and sister, in what I know now as a loving embrace. Oh, God. Okay.
Fuck.
We haven't had incest in a while, have we?
No.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, okay. I remember it quite well, as I told my sister that uncle was scratching auntie's pants at the front. Oh, God. Oh, Christ. Okay. From that day onwards, my sister referred to her as Itchy Auntie. Fucking wise.
That is not the issue.
Oh, God. Everything's making me feel sick today. I was behind the cupboard at the time. Just who's written this in?
But when he saw it?
Yeah, I was behind the cupboard at the time when it happened. Quite close to where my uncle was scratching my aunt's oh, God. Quite close to where my uncle was scratching my aunt's pants at the front.
Yeah, now. Why not?
Ants pants.
Aunt's,
My auntie's pants.
aunt's pants. I could hear distinguishable ruffling, which I now know is a clear indicator that she had a massive bushy growler.
Fucking hell. What? Does it mean that?
It's so basic.
You might have jumped ahead, mate. Fucking hell. It's like Columbo, isn't he? He deduced it, did he? Can only mean one thing. It's got a massive bush. Watching his auntie and uncle, who are related, rub each other off. Do you not think you want to come out and say you're there? Do you mind stopping? I'm behind the cupboard. By the sounds of it, you've got a massive growler. Am I correct?
Oh, fucking hell.
This is possibly the most basic one ever to go in.
It is. It's the lowest of the low, isn't it?
Gossip number 5.
This is from David. Dear David, Joe and Poppy, this is an old story regarding one of Glossop's finest. Let's call him Barry. Barry is a garage owner servicing high-end luxury motors, and there are many good tales about his exploits over the years. For example, he loved a decent explosion and once filled a 40-gallon drum with oxygen and, oh God, acetylene? I don't know. Before igniting it with a rudimentary fuse. The resulting bang could be heard from a mile away, and the drum lid ended up in the attic of a not too nearby house, causing extensive damage.
He is one of Glossop's finest.
The police pretty much knew who was responsible and paid him a visit, but had no direct proof.
What about the massive burn circle in the middle of his garage?
Another story involves him being caught with 2 shotguns and half a rocket launcher.
Half a rocket launcher. What?
In the boot of one of his clients' Rolls Royces.
He's mental.
God.
I'm not sure how he got out of that one, but this was 30 or 40 years ago, and he used to have a drink with the local bobbies, who looked on him as a bit of a rogue, but knew him to be fairly harmless.
Doesn't sound harmless.
He had an excellent trick to get lock-ins in the big Surrey. He used to add a few lines of speed into the landlords and the landladies' half-a-bitters, and they would regularly have us stopping back until the early hours, whizzing off their tits.
He drugged him.
Yeah.
He drugged him.
Yeah. The above snippets are part of Glossop folklore, and now for the gossip. This involves one of John's brothers who was in the Navy. He served on the Royal Yacht Britannica, and one day observed Her Majesty in her suite heading for Trap 1 with the racing post.
Fuck off. A fag on her lip.
He did what I like to think most of us would have done in this situation. He quickly popped a stern with a net attached to a long pole and managed to capture the royal turd.
Fuck off. What, he fished out her turd?
Fuck off. What, he fished out her turd?
Not having it.
This was carefully dried out, varnished,
God.
and mounted on a wooden plinth.
Fucking hell.
That should be our little trophy at the end of the year.
He might win it. With his own idea.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it for myself, but John swears that it was a magnificent specimen, which tapered nicely and had a definite regal quality to it. Oh, God.
No, it's just varnish.
Reinforcing popular belief, John maintains that even before drying, Her Royal Highness's log had no discernible aroma. Keep up the good work. Best regards, David. Keep up the good work, David.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gossip number 6. Celebrity. Rob Beckett.
I don't know if this works as a rumour or a bloke lying, but this kid at my school, I won't name him, once said that he won the McDonald's Monopoly, 100 grand, and he bought a computer with The Sims on it and bought a Ford Fiesta for his brother and a holiday for his sister, even though he was an only child, we later found out. So that was the rumour, he won the Monopoly, but I think he invented it and he lied about brothers and sisters and winning.
Gossip number 7.
This is from Tom. Dear Gossipmongers, back in the early noughties, my brother was home from university for the summer and signed up to one of those dismal temping agencies that find useless people shit jobs. Oh, God.
Well described.
He was sent to all sorts of weird places and did some absolutely terrible jobs. But one day he was told to report to the office of the local landfill site, or waste disposal pit, as he called it. On arrival, he was told that his job would be to clean up the rubbish. Given that the site was just a mountain of rotting garbage in the middle of the woods, my brother assumed this was some kind of joke. It wasn't a joke. He was sent off with a high-vis jacket and a litter picker to tidy up the dump.
Tidy up the dump.
in the rain.
Fucking hell. It's got to be a joke.
Every 5 minutes, a bin lorry would arrive and toss in a couple more tons of shit, which the wind would scatter all over the place. After about an hour of wading knee-deep through mud, wet trash and industrial waste, trying to make the rubbish neat. I love these jobs. He began to wonder whether this really was worth £4.20 an hour. Then he found a sodden old porno mag. He thought a quick wank might provide some respite from the relentless misery
Yeah.
and
What a
help
dump. Fucking hell.
and help see him through his first break.
It's his first day. Fucking hell.
So he took his find off into the garbage-strewn woods at the perimeter of the dump.
This is so bleak.
It's depressing as fuck, isn't it? Oh my God.
Trudged off to the woods.
Behind a tree, he pulled his trousers down and proceeded to have the worst wank ever had by anyone in history. Up to his ankles in mud. Surrounded by rotting food and used nappies, beating one off to the faded fannies in some decomposing spaff mag that he'd found buried in a pile of shit in the rain. Oh, God. Oh, God. He somehow finished, threw the magazine in the trees and fucked off home, abandoning his £8 earnings and a career in waste management. For some reason, he then told quite a lot of people in vivid detail about the time he had a wank on a dump. Oh, God. A low point in his and, I imagine, anybody's life.
Oh, brilliant.
When he somehow got married, his best man and I considered for a long time whether to tell this story in the speeches. In the end, we decided it was so bleak and worrying that it would probably put his marriage at risk. Great to be able to finally share the story, though. Love the pod, Tom. Oh, that was fucking
That was
marvellous.
really
Tom.
good. Oh my God.
Gossip number 8.
When discussing with said friend what potential gossip I have that I could send in, it turned out that we'd both heard the following story before, so I felt I was left with no choice but to get in touch. We all love a good shit story, so here goes. We get a lot of them, mate. Back in my uni days, one of my mates told me a story involving one of his old schoolmates, let's call him Jeff, who lived in a house with a few other blokes at a different uni. Not content with filling their spare time with getting pissed, playing Xbox or binge-watching Lost in 16-hour sessions, they came up with a little game to make their days a little more interesting. And so was spawned the game known as Hide the Shit. Fucking hell.
New angle. We've all sat up.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to carry on. Each housemate took it in turns to hide a poo somewhere in the house
A poo.
for the rest of them to try and find. Perfectly normal and harmless, I think you'll agree. It started off pretty simple. On a pillow, in a cereal bowl, under a bed or in a shoe.
Who's poo?
As time passed, they found it harder and harder to find new and ingenious
bet.
ways of hiding their stalls. And eventually came the day where Jeff seemingly had the beating of his opponents. His opponents! Like Commonwealth level. After a few days of searching, no one could find the poo in question. So they gave up, moved on with their lives, and who knows, maybe they actually concentrated on studying for a while. Skip
Very
forward
judgmental.
yeah, they're all arseholes. Skip forward a few weeks, and one of the housemates was having some breakfast, probably about 2 p.m. As he scraped the butter out of the tub to spread on his toast, a slight hint of brown started to appear, getting stronger and stronger by every scrape. As the penny dropped, it's fair to say he lost his appetite. It transpired Jeff's emptied the tub of butter, stuck the poo in, covered it back up with butter, completely sealing it.
Oh, right, put it in the butter.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You were packing up there, weren't you,
Genius.
David? David was about to have a piss. He's come back. They all had been using the tub of butter for a few weeks
God.
until the discovery. Kudos to Jeff.
Yeah, big time.
But ever since I heard this story, I felt a bit uneasy opening a tub of butter. Fucking hell. Hide the poo.
Very impressive.
Christ.
Oh, God. Don't.
Well, it's gone quiet in here.
Yeah. No,
Everyone's very tired.
Thinking about it.
Everyone's tired after hide the poo.
Gossip number 9.
Hi, guys. Love your podcast. I thought it said I'm male, but here's my tale. It didn't say I'm male.
You thought it said what?
I am male.
As in a type of email?
No,
As in not female?
I'm a boy.
Oh, right.
It doesn't say that. It just says here's my tale.
So why are we dwelling on it? Discuss something that does not exist.
I grew up going to these evangelical, a bit American, summer camps, where a bunch of churches would send their teenagers for the weekend somewhere in the Midlands for organised fun and Bible bashing. They'd always save at least one evening for a set of sermons about intimate things, where they'd put the boys and girls into separate rooms and talk to us about things like how to hug your girlfriend. Or most of the time, how to avoid masturbating.
Sure.
We had one sermon where a guy told us all about his technique for avoiding this sinful act. He claimed that whenever he got the feeling, like when he'd seen something a bit sexy on TV, he'd go out into the garden and do several hours of manual labour.
Wow. But his garden looks incredible.
A load of rotivating. I still imagine him to this day at 2 a.m, frantically digging a massive hole in his garden, sporting an angry and unloved erection.
Unloved.
I also heard about a guy who'd eat a whole raw potato if he ever felt like he was getting too turned on. Toodle pips, George.
I like that one.
Joe, Poppy and David will now choose their favourite rumour.
Okay, so, right, we are going to choose our favourite from the top 5.
Yeah.
We're going to write them down and reveal them at the same time. Okay, so the top 5 are, in no particular order, worst wank ever.
Yeah.
Number 2, stop himself wanking.
What was that?
The,
Oh, right, the guy
the-
digging holes.
he
Yeah.
dug a hole
Oh,
to
right,
stop himself
okay,
wanking.
yeah.
Bon appetit sunshine.
Yeah.
The Queen's turd on a plinth.
It was good.
And the wanking CEO.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you want them again?
Lots of
Worst
wanking.
wank ever. There's 3 big wanking stories. Worst wank ever. Stopping himself wanking. Bon appetit sunshine. The Queen's turd on a plinth.
Sure.
And the wanking CEO.
Okay.
I think I know who's won this. Okay, everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The Queen's
Worst
turd.
wank ever.
I put
The
Queen's turd.
Well, I never.
But I put in brackets worst wank ever because that would be my second choice.
Ah.
Yeah, interesting.
Should we go with
God, I've
Queen's
forgotten
turd?
about dump wank. That was good as well.
That was the
Yeah.
worst wank ever, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think we should, honestly, I've just had a thought. Well, I think we could have level peggings there, personally. I think they're.
What, had you forgotten what the worst wank ever was?
Yeah, I had a moment of I went, oh, maybe I've made the wrong decision.
Either of them.
Is there unprecedented? But can we shout out two? Short. Can we have a joint winner?
Yeah, could do.
Well, or we go back on what we were.
Yeah, I don't mind changing. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to stick. I've got to stick with my decision, haven't I?
Okay.
Queen's turd.
Okay, Queen's turd.
Queen's turd it is. I feel like there's a dissent in the room, but
Yeah. I think this might become the Gay Boy Roy of 2020. Worst wank ever.
I could shout out whatever one you want to shout
would you wear that on a
No.
t-shirt?
I'd wear the Queen's turd.
But not the worst wank ever.
Right. So
Um,
Poppy's going to shout out the window and tell the world.
okay.
Open the window. Quick,
It's Queen's turd. Is
It's
it?
Yeah,
Queen's
yeah.
turd.
Okay
yeah.
then.
How many people out there, Avengers?
12.
Oh, we've been away for a bit, haven't we?
Yeah. So, God, it's like two bits.
It is.
There's the first guy who I can't remember what was the
I
first
can't
guy
remember.
up to.
He was up. He was a bit tricky at the top. He had a few stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go to the.
Just go to the big
I'll go
hitter.
to the meat of the gossip. But basically, this guy went into a room where the Queen was staying, and she was taking a shit, and he fished it out, stuck a bit of varnish on it.
He did a bit more than that. He dried it out.
Oh, dried it out, sorry, and there was no smell whatsoever. And he stuck some varnish on it and put it on a plaque or something.
A wooden plinth.
A wooden plinth. And then they just kept it on the mantelpiece.
That was made up, that bit.
What? They kept
Did
it on
they
the
keep it on a
mantelpiece.
Probably. Where else are you going to keep it? You're not going to hide that away.
That's what. That's why I
Just had a
imagined.
thought. Does the Queen not flush?
Does she not?
I
No,
don't
because
know.
her helper doesn't. Does her helper
Well, she
do
must
it?
not flush.
I don't know.
If it's left there. Anyway, not important.
Is that okay? Okay.
Shut the window.
Is that
Wow.
fine?
Well,
From all of us at Gossipmongers.
thank you for sending in your rumours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All the best.
Fucking
Ba-dum,
terrible.
bum, bum. Cheers,
You wanna
everyone.
Take us out, Poppy. With
Oh yeah.
Anything you want to say to?
anything you want.
Keep
up.
listening, please. Keep
Oh, that was
send-
from the bloody heart, wasn't it?
Yeah. Tell your friends.
tell your friends. Send in some more gossip.
Yeah.
Download the podcast.
Download the
Like
podcast,
it.
like it.
Subscribe it.
Put a nice recommendation.
Yeah.
On your,
Can you
A
write
recommendation?
yeah.
What, of another podcast?
Yeah.
No, don't
fuck
put
other
that.
ones. Just what about our one?
No, I meant recommenders
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
on with,
right.
with stars, 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Review it.
What a powerful
Yeah.
end to the podcast. There's petering out, and then there's petering out.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
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 Gerard.
bye. See you.